Shalom, La Bachayar Shal Yashala. Peace be to the elect of the nation of Israel, which consists of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans, which are destined for salvation. The 144,000 Nabayayim, the prophets, which are all men, and of course the rest of the multitude, which are men, women, and children, which will believe in the words which the prophets shall speak unto them, and of course repent, being deeply sorrowful for their sins, and return to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, our power. With that, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem R'Chakodash Kol Halayim La Alahayina wa Yahweh B'Hashem Yahushai B'Hashem R'Chakodash. All praises to our power, which is Yahweh, which is the almighty, powerful name of the Heavenly Father, who the world he calls God, and his only begotten Son's name is Yahweh Shai, who the world he calls Jesus Christ. Bahashem, meaning in the name, Recha, meaning spirit, Kodash is holy, which I utter in the Paleo Hebrew, language that has been returned back unto us Hebrew Israelites. And these times, which we are back in our lots, being back as the prophets, of course, here to, of course, bring forth Ga'ar, which is rebuke to the 2/3 of the nation of Israel, and also to condemn Hagawayam, the rest of the nations, chiefly Esau, Edom, which is the wicked upon the earth, whom have control of the whole earth. And through, of course, this the damn Edomite, we have, of course, things like this occurring, and also due to the curses which the Lord Yahweh Shai placed upon the nation of Israel. So, without further ado, I have a couple, articles in Slakia. I didn't get to, of course, give double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone, who were well. Shinya Kabad La Shala Yakim Nawa was a Konyam Nawa Shal Yasha Allah. God Walla Rakub Ba'aith, which of course means double honor. Shinya Kabad Allah is two. Shalayachim Nawa is our apostles. Wazakonyam Nawa is our elders. Shalyashal is of Israel. God Walla Rakub means the great millstone. Ba'aith is in these times, which are uttered in the Paleo Hebrew. Shemya Mappa, my name's Amappa, from the Great Millstone Plain Table Camp, located here by Ayar in the city of Philadelphia, by Babal in Babylon. So there's a proper introduction. So armed group demands Popeyes chicken sandwiches, Texas restaurant that's in Babylon. You also have the article here: a fussy eater goes blind, boy, or your lad. 17 goes blind after eating bangers, chips, and of course America is referred as your fries, Pringles, or that'd be crisps that you would say in the UK, and white bread for a decade. This of course is rubbish. Alright, a fussy eater, and this is a clear judgment for, of course, not, of course, tending to the body at all, whether this be an Israelite or be a heathen. The other article we have here is Scotsman lives on 2 racks of ribs a day after chronic pain left him suicidal. So you have all of these different articles. So let's get into it. It says here, an armed group demands Popeyes chicken sandwiches at Texas restaurant. Houston police are searching for a group of people who demanded Popeyes chicken sandwich at gunpoint Monday night. Authorities say 2 women and 3 men stormed the front door of the restaurant with at least 1 weapon. They had just been told through the drive-through window that the store was sold out of the popular sandwich. An employee was able to lock the doors before the 5 could get inside. The group left a baby inside their vehicle as they trade to enter the restaurant. There were no injuries reported. Police are trained to develop descriptions of the suspect. This was published back on September 3rd, year Chragma, which the Chragma is the chip, mark of the beast. And you have these chicken eating their guards. They're going to be taking chips with RFID microchips, which is mark of the beast, in their bodies. They're starving, right? Famished, because they kind of get anything to eat, and you have the wicked is going to serve them a chip in order to, of course, be a functional member of society when this whole economy does crash, which we're soon fastly approaching, if you can tell by the way things are going. So through the Spirit, I got these precepts, which I'm going to start at the book of Psalms, Hasapar, Thahalal, Thahalayim. I gotta check Thahalayim. I believe that's Psalms in Hebrew, which means songs, if I'm not mistaken. And chapter 44. Okay, so we're gonna start here at. Actually, I'm gonna say it's another precept. I'm gonna go get to Pequod precept. It's probably the book of Jeremiah. It's either Jeremiah, Isaiah, Jeremiah 2. Let me see what it says. This is the book of Jeremiah chapter 2 and 21. Yet, actually, I'm going to start at 20. It says, actually, I'm going to bring it back. I'm going to start here and then bring it back. It says, yet I have planted thee a mobile vine, wholly a right seed. Okay, so of course the Lord made the nation of Israel, right, a right, which you have a moth, actually, a true, and you have Zerai, okay, in Hebrew. So you have a Zerai, a moth, okay. So we're a true seed, okay, of righteous people. It says here, holy, a call, right seed. Who then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? And of course, we've done that by, of course, walking in the way of the heathen and learning their various ways. All right, sawar, baha bariyat, the word for degenerate, meaning to deteriorate, degenerate. Or you're going bad. You Israelites out there and went out of the way of the Lord Yahweh Shem Yahushai, debased, corrupt, impure. All right, so your la'ah tahar, or la'ah tahar, I would say ka, but I want to make it plural, so I believe it will be for that come, actually. So your come at the end, or cam, like C-A, or ka, meaning C-A-M, and English transliterated. That means at the end, it means to be your in a masculine plural sense. So I want to say that your, all right, la'ah, which is I'm gonna break it down. I'm breaking it down. I thought right now is that tahar is pure in Hebrew, and then you have, of course, come. So tahar, come, la'ah, So you're not pure, okay, at all. You're of course a degenerate form, okay. You are debased, degraded, corrupt, all right. So you do that by being as these heathen. You know, it says in the scriptures in Proverbs, the 3rd chapter, that bring out is Proverbs 3, and I'm gonna start here. Proverbs 3, and there's another word I wanted to bring up that precept that says that it's a precept that says to envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways. So, you know, we shouldn't, of course, choose the ways of the heathen at all, being thieves and of course being base, low people. We should, of course, hold ourselves at a high standard because we are the highest people upon the earth. We are the Lord's people. We are Yasha'Allah. So I'm going to bring out this. In verse 7, it says, be not wise in thine own eyes. Fear Yahweh and depart from evil. It shall be health to thy navel and marrow to thy bones. Okay, because when you, of course, walk out the ways of the heathen and such, and you, of course, take on the law, statutes, commandments, these things are good for you, which is going to lead towards long life. Okay? That wisdom, knowledge, and understanding is going to deck you out. Okay? You're going to have, of course, that coverage of Yahweh Shai. Okay? That blood. Found without any guile and such. Alright? As it says when you read up above, it says, my son, forget not my law, but let thine heart keep thy mind, keep my commandments. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to thee. Okay, it says, let not the chesed, let not mercy and truth forsake thee. Alright, so you shouldn't, of course, leave it, which I believe as izab in Hebrew. Okay, forsake is izab. Alright, you shouldn't, of course, forsake the truth, leave. Okay, abandon, neglect truth and good understanding. It says, bind them about thy neck, write them upon the table of thine heart. So you're supposed to have it, of course, in your mind. Alright, lab, come, your mind, speaking in the masculine plural sense. It says, so shalt thou find favor and good understanding in the sight of the power and men. Because what's going to happen is people are going to obviously look at this well and understanding people, all right, who have such laws and such a power so nigh unto thee, as is written, roughly paraphrasing the book of Hasapar of Deuteronomy chapter 4 and 5. It says, behold, I have taught you statutes and judgment, even as the Lord Yahweh my power commanded me, that ye should do so in the land whither ye should go to possess it. So wherever we go, we should, of course, follow the laws, statutes, commandments to the best of our ability. It says, keep therefore and do them, for this is your wisdom. Alright, so your wisdom, kakama, and then see if it say come. Alright, your wisdom. Let's see, kakamath, come. Alright, so that's wisdom, plural sense. It says Wabayan Nakam, which is definitely your understanding in plural sense masculine. La Ayan Ya, which I believe 2 in eyes. Ya, alright. and you have let me see where we got. I want to see for nations what they got, but that's basically I'm gonna go in for right now in the Hebrew. Slakia. It says, in the sight of the nations which shall hear all these statutes and say, surely this is a great nation and a wise and understanding people. All right, so the other nations which they don't have a power, all right, with them other than idols, which aren't of any righteousness. Okay, they're wicked, or just made up faceted things which are fashioned by men. Okay, they of course don't have the power of Habashim Ashai, so they should of course look upon to us and see what righteousness is all about. But instead we have become as a degenerate plant. Okay, so returning back to Shawab, return back to the original Pequot precept. So going back, it says, yet I have planted thee a noble vine, holy and right seed. How then art thou turned into a degenerate plant of a strange vine unto me? Okay. So I'm gonna go now to the book of Psalms. Okay. And I'm gonna start at verse 10. It says, thou makest us to turn back from the enemy, and they which hate us spoil for themselves. Thou hast given us like sheep appointed Slakia. See, I lost my place. For meat, and hast scattered us among the heathen. So we of course are scattered amongst all nations. That's why of course the gospel has to be preached unto all nations, and then the end shall come. Okay. It says here, thou sellest thy people for naught, and doth not increase thy wealth by their praise. Thou makest us a reproach to our neighbors, a scorn and a derision to them that are round about us. Thou makest us a byword among the heathen, a shaking of the head among the people. So you can see why, of course, we are a byword and a shaking of a head, because of what we do, of course, when we're not in the right state, right? Not in the right frame of mind and such. Okay? This is Deuteronomy chapter 28 and 37. This is a curse. It says, and thou shalt become astonishment, a proverb, and a byword among all nations, whether Yahweh shall lead thee. So you, of course, got our people walking in about in this stupid, fucking crazy state in which, you know, all the people look at us as astonishment. You know, they're marveling at us, and they're like, man, look at these fucking people, right? You know, and that's just what it is, you know. We ought to be rooted in speech, not in knowledge. Our people being literally animals, beasts and such, okay? So that's why, of course, Yahweh Shem Yahshai has to bring judgment. You know, when, of course, a person like this get, of course, pulled over and shot down by the police, you know, that is righteous judgment, because, you know, you, of course, forgot the law, statute, commandments, which in the law, statute, commandments, all right, we have here by Hathawara, in the law, which is given unto Israel. It tells you here, you know, thou shalt not steal. Okay, you shouldn't, of course, steal. You shouldn't be going about trying to rob. All right, la tha Gaban Ganabab or Slakia Tha Ganab. Alright, Ganab Slakia. Alright, so it says La'a Tha Ganab. La, you shouldn't steal, okay? Tho. Alright? It says, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, nor thy covet thy neighbor's wife, nor thy manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is in thy neighbor's. That is thy neighbor's. Alright? We know that Esau, he of course is our wicked brother, but you of course in righteousness to keep yourself out of trouble, you shouldn't of course be stealing, alright, going about robbing and such, okay, for a bloody chicken sandwich. That's stupid, okay, that's heathenish, okay, that's heathen like the heathen. Alright, so I'm gonna fast forward to this one. And he may be an Israelite, but I liken this article to, of course, Jake, because Jake, running after a fried chicken sandwich with trans fats, GMO, genetically modified, it's just only going to bring you death, all right? So it says here, a fussy eater goes blind. Boy, a 17 goes blind after only eating bangas, chips, Pringles. All right, chips mean fries in English. Over here, actually, and you say in the States, Pringles, which would be crisps, as I explained, and you have white bread, lacham, which is bread in Hebrew, for a decade. So it says here, a boy went legal blind. So I liken this article to you Israelites that want to continually eat rubbish all day, and of course, a judgment will come upon you. It says a boy, a yalad, which is boy in Hebrew, went legally blind, age 17, which he'd be actually a ayash, a man, because after the age of 12, you're actually considered a man in the scriptures. It says almost a decade after eating only bangas, chips, Pringles, crisps, white bread, and processed ham, which is pork. Another thing, of course, we shouldn't eat is pork at all. We, of course, in our dietary law, we aren't, of course, to touch swine, eat swine, consume swine at all. Okay? So, this is Leviticus chapters 11 and 7. It says, in the swine, okay, so swine, let's go to that. Swine, you have chazayar in the Hebrew, bahalashman kodash in the Holy Tongue. This is a hog, a swine, a boar. Swine as in forbidden food. Alright, so it will be, of course, unclean, or tamah in Hebrew. It's unclean for you. Alright, wild boar. Okay, so going back, it reads, in the swine, though he divided the hoof, it goes, of course, into his feet and such, and be cloven-footed, yet he cheweth not the cud, he is unclean to you. So it says unclean, which I gave you that Hebrew word, which is tamah. Alright, tamah, right here, ta, ama, and ah. Alright. So we aren't to eat any swine. So it says, of their flesh ye shall not eat. Okay, you shouldn't, of course, eat, which is a call. Alright, tha, a call, wa. Alright, a call right there. It says, in their carcass shall you not touch, they are unclean to you. Alright, to you. So, going back, this Yalada is eating this boy, or this, or Yalada is, he went blind in righteousness because he eating the bangers, chips, crisps, and white bread and ham. That's stupid. That's saltish. It says his diet was so bad that he suffered a condition normally. And also, just to let you know, banga is here. It's just a sausage and such. See here. Go here. Banga. Banga is. So you have banga, alright? You have bangas and mash, known as sausage and mash. Is a traditional dish in Great Britain and the UK, comprising of sausage served with mashed tatties and mashed potatoes. It says, and it consists of a variety of flavored sausages made of pork, lamb, and beef. Alright, that's just a complete abomination. You have a mixture of clean and uncleanliness there, which over makes it, or completely it makes it abomination. Completely, you can't even mix good with. There's good and bad things. That's fucking crazy, slocky. All right. So it says the condition normally only seen in malnourished children in the third world. All right. So it says the lad. All right, Yalada. Or Yalad, actually, Slakia, lad. I had a lesson on that about lad, going back to Yalad. Alright, lad. The lad, who is called a Jake. This is insane. It says he's called Jake Yaiquab. Just through the spirit, he probably a Jake. So it's called Jake Korah Yaiquab. It's called Jake in Hebrew, I'm saying. And is of average height and weight, also has gone partially deaf. So he not only that he's lost his vision, he's also has lost his hearing and such. It says Jake said he did not like the texture of foods, and he described as extremely fussy eater by medics. It says, but Mum Angie from Bristol stressed she did all she could to help her son and blamed the National Health Service, or NHS, for not having done more. I mean, it shouldn't be, of course, the National Health Service should be at fault. It should be you, your mom, Angie, alright, or Ama, or his mom, which Angie is her name, Shema, alright, her name. Because she's, of course, supposed to taught this young bull, this young Yalada, alright, Na'ar. From Na'ar means young, so Na'ar, I believe Na'ar, Slaki. Like Ayalam means young as well, I believe. But anyway, it says she told the son, if I was reading about somebody else's child, I would blame the parents for their poor diet. But I know I did all I could for Jake. I used to feed him fruit and veg and vegetables and send him to school with a healthy lunch. He would pick at his food at home like any child does, and didn't realize it was so serious. He looked healthy and was a good height and weight and played football with his friends. It says Angie first took her son to the doctors, which means falsify. Alright, they of course are physicians of no value, forgers of lies, roughly paraphrasing the book of Job, 13th chapter, I believe, maybe possibly the 8th verse. It says when he was 14, after he complained about tiredness, medics initially diagnosed him with anemia, meaning anemic. I believe he was lacking certain vitamins. Which you have a condition which a deficiency of red blood cell and the hemoglobin of the blood, resulting to pallor and weirdness. Alright, without blood. There you go, anemia from the Greek. These all go from curses and such, when you go into it. Jake have all of these different silly curses because they have this improper diet. Right, the things they consume is improper, isn't it? Right? Okay, it's not in the right balance. A lot of the things are unclean. So of course, Jake get destroyed from it. Okay, so you can read that also in Deuteronomy the 28th chapter 2 as well, which, let's see, Deuteronomy 28. Alright, well, I'm gonna find a precept which I'm looking for. So give me a wee moment. This is the 29th chapter, Slakia. This is the 28th. This is one curse. Thou shalt beget, 28, Deuteronomy 28 and 41, it says, thou shalt beget sons and daughters, but thou shalt not enjoy them, for they shall go into captivity, they should go into slavery. This was told unto, of course, Masha. It says, you have this, of course, being fulfilled, like that, and many other captivities and such, okay? You ain't gonna be able to enjoy them because they don't listen to you, alright? It says, and the reason why, of course, these curses are, we can tell who's an Israelite, is based on this. Deuteronomy 28 and 46, and thou shalt be, speaking of the curses, all these curses, shall be upon thee as a sign, a distinguishing mark or note, for a wonder, and upon thy seed forever. So that's why we can tell who's Israelite, not based on how they look, but because of the curses, okay? We, of course, judge by the Spirit. Alright, so this is Deuteronomy chapter 59 and 28 and 59. It says, then the Lord Yahweh will make thy plagues wonderful, and plagues of thy seed, even great plagues, great curses, and a long continuance, and a sore sickness, and of long continuance. It says, moreover, he will bring upon thee all the disease of Egypt, which thou wast afraid of, and thou shalt cleave unto thee. Also every sickness and every plague which is written in the book of this law, them will the Yahweh bring upon thee until he destroyed. You have lots, of course, of diseases and curses that were placed on the Egyptians, and they're on us now, and such. And obviously, lastly, you have slavery. But that's basically it in that particular verse. But anyway, going back in here, it says, but a year later, he developed problems with his sight and hearing, leaving him stumped. It says, he eventually was diagnosed with a nutrition optic neuropathy, aged 17, after tests revealed that his vitamin B12 deficiency in low copper and selenium levels. The condition is usually caused by drugs or poor diet combined with alcoholism and smoking. Basically being defiled. You know, you're of course supposed to know that you are the temple of the Lord. Okay, so you shouldn't have defiled it at all. Okay. It says Jake told medics at Bristol Eye Hospital he did not drink, take drugs, or smoke, but he had eaten a limited diet for years, including regular bangers and chips and takeaways. So he's just thinking he was eating, of course, curry, and of course fish and chips, and of course sausage rolls. You just think of all these different day things that's out there from these different takeaways and stuff, which you call in America and Babylon, you call just takeout shops and such. You call takeaways in the UK, Scotland, and abroad and such. So it says Angie said they initially said it was all in his heat in his head, but by the time they realized what was going on, it was too late to save his sight. The whole ordeal has been very traumatic, and I want to scream about what we have gone through. It's been very hard. I have 2 other children who don't stop eating. They're fine. I mean, you have it. They break down, of course, the nutritional optic neuropathy. It says Jake is now wearing hearing aid and is unable to work. He's dropped out of college and spends most of his time in his room, so he's gonna be just depressed. All right. It says Jake told the son, "I've been very isolated," so he's introverted and just by himself. It says when I was little, or when I was wee, or I go out to play football. Speaking about soccer, that is soccer. It says with my friends, my pals, I'm too frightened to do that now, I thought. It says I become very isolated. Yeah, I just said that again. It says he continues to eat a limited diet and is struggling to get appointments with the NHS counselor. Jake added that I'd encourage people to get help when they realize they have an eating problem. When you have an issue with your diet, you of course need to change it. Okay. I can't even remember when it started, but I quickly go up control and it lets the progress, and I let it progress too far. Hey, you went overboard. Okay, so obviously you have to know that about excess. You have to control it. And lastly, I have this other article. A Scotsman lives on 2 rack of ribs a day after chronic pain left him suicidal, which I'm never going to cover this. You can read this on your own. Basically, he had this condition where he was traveling, and he had this condition, and he would just eat racks of ribs, basically meat, to help reduce the constant agony of his body endures. He of course looked into how the Inuits and such, those out there in Alaska, would eat just meat mostly, primarily. Okay. And then he even had this silly operation for $4,000, £400 sterling, to of course have shite pumped into his intestines to break the unending cycle of misery. All right. He may not be, I don't know what he is, through his spirit, but health is a very important thing, okay, as the scriptures will go into. All right, so I'm gonna bring out this precept. It says the book of Sirach chapter in the Apocrypha is part of the original King James 1611 actually, original authorized version. It says here in verse 8:30 in the 8th chapter, "And horse not broken becometh headstrong, and a child left to himself will be willful." And you can see that this child, being not broken, not having, of course, a father in his life with understanding to tell him not to eat these things. This dude has definitely became very willful. okay, out on his own, doing whatever he want, his own way. It says, conquer thy child, and he shall make thee afraid. Play with him, and he shall bring thee to heaviness. So you're, of course, supposed to discipline your child, okay? You gotta, of course, be serious and stern with him, because her, of course, baby and women, of course, being the head of household these days due to feminism and such. You have, of course, the woman whom is easygoing, lackadaisical, doesn't have understanding. She's been deprived it. She left this child to himself. He's became willful. He ate himself literally in gluttony, living off the chips and Pringles and crisps and sausage bangers and all this shite, takeaways and such, which end up destroying him, leaving him with a disease. It says, laugh not with him, lest thou have sorrows with him, and lest thou gnash thy teeth at the end. And that's what's happening with her. She's definitely like biting her words, of course, and biting what she's done, all right, with her child. It says, give him no liberty in his youth, wink not at his follies, bow down his neck while he is young, and beat him on the sides while he's a child. So it's a righteous thing to, of course, bring correction, discipline to your child. Okay, that's biblical. It says, lest he wax stubborn and be disobedient until thee. He don't listen, right? It says, and he disobey, right? It says, and so bring sorrow to thine heart. Chastise thy son and hold him to labor, lest his lewd behavior be offense unto thee. Okay, which when you go into lewd, we'll go into it real quick. Like Khawash. I definitely know it's like forbidden. So lewd means going into, of course, lustful, dirty, okay, degenerate. There you go, degenerate. Profane is going to be, of course, also corrupt. All right, behavior. All right, be offense unto thee. Right, go back. And it says here, better is the poor being sound and strong of constitution than a man that is afflicted in his body. So it's better, of course, to be poor and have a strong body, all right, than a rich man that is, of course, sick, basically. All right, it says health and a good estate of body are above all gold, and a strong body is above infinite wealth. That shows you, of course, that a bashar, that of course is tawab. A bashar is your flesh, or a flesh, or a body that's strong, chazak, all right, which is mighty, or has might, is above infinite wealth, riches. It says there is no riches above a sound body, and no joy, la'ashamach, above the joy of the heart. It says death is better than bitter life or continual sickness. And of course, that's why, of course, you have some people that just take themselves to their misery, all right, or they just want death when they, of course, are suffering. So with that, I believe I covered the lesson. And there's other things in the scriptures where it tells you that when you go, I believe, farther down, it tells you that it says a cheerful and good heart, which is a good mind, will have care of his meat and diet. So you, of course, supposed to have thought, and you're supposed to consider what you actually eat. Think about what you eat. Okay? So with that, I want to give all praise to Yahweh, Shem HaShai, B'Shem HaKadosh, and double honors to the elders and apostles at Great Millstone. Well, shalom to the elect out there. As you see again, got wicked niggards that, of course, done robbed the Popeyes for some chicken sandwich, or tried to, of course, basically hold up a Popeyes, having, of course, a gun at them, trying to demand chicken sandwich and such. And you have, of course, this other Yalad, which is boy, that he got, of course, got, or konai, possessed, or got a disease from being a fussy eater. Alright? You kind of eat these things, alright? With that, I'm going to say shalom.